Hello, my name is Scott Cooper, and I want to say thank you so much for taking time to review my recording. At this time, I will be going over the legal status of students when it comes to the higher education while they're attending a higher education institution, what their contractual rights are, what the broad rights are, legal relationships that they have, the legal relationships that they have with other students, and also legal relationships that they have with administrations. What do we serve as professionals when it comes to working with their files and their records? And lastly, the three to four student focused regulations that govern responsibilities in the student affairs department. The first area I like to touch on first is just the legal status of students in higher education. The legal status normally refers to what the law views students and the relationship between what the law view the students and the relationship to the institution they have while they're attending. In higher education, the unique thing is that they're not considered a minor no more. They're considered an adult. So they are part of an academic community. There's a contractual relationship between the student and the actual institution. What this all means is that they have enforceable rights and responsibilities, and the institutions must, not optional, but they must follow laws, policies, and due process when making decisions. So, which leads me to my next thing about what is broad rights. Different forms of broad rights is things such as due process. If something comes about where there's legalities that need to take place, every student is guaranteed a due process. It's protection under arbitrary and unfair disciplinary action. So a school can't just say, hey, we're kicking you out because you did X, Y, and Z. There has to be an actual due process before an official decision can be implemented. Freedom of speech. And this one's a little tricky because freedom of speech, you got to teeter along the line because there's certain times and places that you're allowed to do certain things, and then there's stuff where you can be apprehended for not being able, for it not being in the right time and place. Freedom from discrimination, harassment, right to privacy, especially when it comes to the actual records that's being held. And then most importantly, equal access for everyone, no matter what your situation is, which leads next to the contractual relationship. What are the contractual rights for a student? The relationship between students and institutions typically are defined by admissions materials, student handbooks, course catalogs, codes of conduct, institutional policies, and procedures. The institution should follow its stated policies, provide the educational service promises, and apply rules fairly. One thing I mentioned in my previous post when we have done the discussions is that training is one of the key components when it comes to these items. So therefore, knowing what the code of conduct is very, very important.